What's going on? How's everybody doing? Everybody, there's one person watching. I, of course, am Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, and I'm just hanging out tonight. Just hanging out, kicking back. Hey, Eric. Oh, it's Eric Morlock. How the heck are you, man? I had originally intended to do like a show, like a proper live stream show, and I went and laid down on my bed, and I had full. Hey, Chris. I had like full, deep REM sleepy time from 7 o'clock till way after 8. And I staggered out and I was like, oh, well, I guess I should probably have some dinner and then do something about live streaming tonight. So it's a little bit more impromptu than usual. And I know like Tuesday night was just kind of a late night, nothing stream. And then last night was sort of an open Q&A. And then tonight is kind of directionless. But I promise you tomorrow night, we will actually have content. Tomorrow night will actually be content because I will do, there'll be a preamble ramble, of course. And then we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about, no, we're not going to talk about, then we're going to play some Gamma World, some first edition Gamma World. We'll have the Gamma World crew in the house. So, good evening. Yes, the power of the evening nap, you know. I mean, this was like a full bore, had deep REM sleep, dreams, the whole 9 yards, capital N nap that I took, and it was delicious. And when I woke up initially, I felt like I'd slept all night. Like I was like, oh, it must be morning, but I'm just lying on the bed. I'm not under the sheets. The bed is undisturbed. My wife is not working at her workstation in the corner of the bedroom, so it's probably not. And so I just decided to stagger out. And like I said, I scarfed down some dinner and watched Yang's live stream. Yang Yanzhao did a live stream tonight with Jay Ishiro Finney, and I had been on his live stream a few times a few years ago. And I say a few years ago, maybe it was 2020 or 2021. But yeah, he was his guest on it, and he was talking about his book, RPG Grandma, hello. Lux, hello. So, yeah, so I basically just ended up just sort of chilling out this evening. Rather than busting my brain and bringing you guys half-assed content, I figured I would come on late and bring you no-assed content. I got to watch the dirty words. We're not under the half-hour watershed where I can drop an F-bomb or something like that. So I got to watch my P's and Q's. I did a video today. I dropped a short video, and I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about this. There's a lot of stuff that I put in the videos that I don't normally like. I don't have time to fit into the videos, so I'll talk about them on live stream, and this is one of those things. And it was basically Paizo has released the Orc license, and it seems a little, hey, Gary D20, it seems a little I don't think I'm using that word right. It seems a little unnecessary if you're not to adhere to the OGL and you just want to do your own stuff, why would you put your stuff on their front porch and hope that they'll keep it dry for you and take care of it? Here's my problem. Hey-o, Imperial Ramblings, my sound guy. Here's my problem with the ORC license. And I didn't really go into this into the video because I wanted to keep it short, but I'll do it now. My problem with the ORC license is this. Let's say I put Me Have Stick under ORC license. Someone could make Me Have Rock. Totally take Me Have Stick idea, make it their own. Then no one buy Me Have Stick. Everyone buy Me Have Rock. If I'm not going to put something under the OGL for fear of Wizards taking it from me, why would I put it under the ORC where I know lots of people can take it from me and I can't do anything to stop them? I don't consider that a good trade-off. I would rather just come up with my own ish system, flip the middle finger to the OGL, and publish myself than fart around with the ORC license. If you're licensing the Paizo variant of D20 and they require it of you, that's one thing. But why would I want to get involved in that if I didn't have to? And this seems to me like a case where you don't have to. I mean, if you want to thumb your nose at Wizards of the Coast and say, oh, well, I'm doing this just because, ha ha ha, that's fine. It's an odd hill to die on. And I know they say it's under Creative Commons. We don't control it. This group over here controls it in perpetuity. Guys, I've told this story before, and I'll tell it to you again, and I apologize if I'm stepping on anybody's toes. I knew a guy that did some computer work for a legal firm, and he had like a boilerplate 2-page customer to company agreement. And it was fairly comprehensive, if not complex. And so he handed it to the guy, and the guy just flipped to the thing and signed it and then slid it back across the desk to him. And he made a joke with him about, oh, you didn't even bother to read it. And he said, there's nothing in there I can't get out of. I'm like Kirk in the Undiscovered Country when it comes to teams of lawyers perched over your gaming product saying it's safe with us. Don't believe them. Don't trust them. I'm sorry I didn't give that the same gravitas as Bill Shatner did, but that's the truth. Don't believe them. Don't trust them. Don't put your stuff in play. I mean, I remember talking to, like, one of the shows when I had Ty Beard on, who's a great guy, by the way. If you haven't seen the interviews that I've done with Ty Beard, one of them is on YouTube. I do recommend you check it out. But I remember I asked him, and he took the OGL. He'd never looked at the OGL. And this was way before the Wizards of the Coast thing. This was like last summer, before then. I don't remember. And he took the OGL and went down through it. And I said, Ty, one of my biggest fears with the OGL is that somewhere in there's a mechanism, there's a gotcha where Wizards of the Coast could say, all this is ours now. You're done. And if you try and touch it, we'll sue you. And he said, I went over it and I don't see it. Ty's a pretty sharp legal mind. So what I'm about to say is not a patch on Ty. It's just the nature of legal entanglements. That's exactly what Wizards of the Coast did. Oh, they can gussy it up with, we rolled a 20 and so did you, and we heard your voice. This is ours now. What you created belongs to us now. Oh, it wasn't in the OGL. But they flipped the OGL out of the way to be able to do that. If you take something you created and you put it in a legal structure created by someone else, you are sucking around asking for a punch in the mouth. Someone will be along shortly to take what you created away from you. It's called signing your rights away. And there's no recourse once you've done it. Right now, anyone in the chat, tell me when you've ever heard a case of someone signing their rights away and then getting them back later. And being vindicated and coming out the other side in an advantageous position. I can think of one person, and he was a multi-millionaire rock star, Prince. He had the money and the attorneys, and he fought Warner Brothers for decades and managed to come out on top. That's the one I can think of. You, with your Castles and Drakes game? Me? No, we're not gonna. Not against Hasbro and not against Paizo. That's problem the first. Problem the second, and a few people have pointed this out. The people at Paizo are all a bunch of moral busybodies. All right? They're all the type of person who is tacitly okay with what Wizards of the Coast does, regardless of being opposed to them in the business arena. They're cut from the same cloth. Why would you deal with people like that in any circumstance? I'll take my chances as 100% independent. Orc license or no. Greetings, Jorge. Yeah, Jack, I'm just kicking back tonight. Where's the rest of my late night crowd? There's just 14 of you guys out there. Where's the rest of my late night crowd? Come on. We're doing this. So yeah, that's kind of my other thoughts. I've got another video coming tomorrow sometime during the day. Wait, did I say today? Tomorrow. I've got another video coming tomorrow. That I thought was real interesting. It's not anything world shaking, but I found it to be a fairly interesting little artifact. So I want to check that out. Yeah, the notification was screwed up. And that's my fault. Because when I went in and I was like, oh, screw it. Let's just do a live video. Let's just do an impromptu live video. And I put everything into StreamYard, which would have set out a notification. Okay, so if you click go live at a later time, StreamYard by default assumes 2 hours from now. So this was 10 o'clock. This was 10:45 that I set this up. Something like that. So StreamYard said, okay, so 2 hours, 12:45 a.m., July 7th. And I said, no, not then. I changed the time to 11 o'clock, set up the thumbnail, and then went and brushed my teeth and what have you. But I forgot to change the date to the 6th. So when I came into StreamYard ready to roll at 11 o'clock, it's like, oh, yeah, we'll see you at 11 o'clock tomorrow night. Oh, crap. So I had to dip back out, change the date, come back in, and then it was like, you're going live. I'm going live. So that's what happened. Hello, Chris. Yeah, I did kind of pull a let's randomly live stream moment. So that's on that's on me. Praxis says, because of my video today about Orc versus OGL, finally realized some people say Drow wrong. They play an Ed Greenwood's game instead of how AD&D was meant to be played. Well, harsh but fair. Harsh but fair. Greetings, John Scott. So yeah, that's what I think about that. But yeah, tomorrow I've got an interesting video coming. Just a data point, just kind of an interesting thing from. Well, I don't want to spoil it. I'll check it out tomorrow, or you can check it out tomorrow, rather. I'm so damn tongue-tied tonight. Probably because I didn't do prep. I didn't work on my bilabial fricatives. Oh, that's bound to get me demonetized. I said bilabial fricatives, guys, on YouTube. I'm demonetized. Please super chat me and help me recover from this disaster. Speaking of disasters, I got to recover. I got fired by my lawn guy because I needed that. I fucking need. There it goes. I frickin' needed that. And I had been texting him since last week saying, hey, can you come out and do the lawn? Now, this is a holiday week. I get it, right? So I texted him last week and I said, hey, can you come out and do the lawn? He said, sounds tempting. But that's it. That's it. So Monday rolls in. I don't blame him for not wanting to roll in on Monday. And certainly not on the 4th of July, right? So I texted him yesterday morning. I'm like, hey, can you fit me in the back half of the week? Nothing. Texted him again this afternoon. When I came out from my nap and I pull up my phone, finally, guys, like, yeah, because of gas prices, I'm not really going to be able to service your area anymore. And I'm like, gas prices have actually been more than they are right now. But whatever. So he's coming out next Thursday. So my grass will continue to grow for another week, and he's going to cut my grass one more time. So now I gotta find somebody to cut the yard. And it's when you think about it, it's not that often. It's like in Florida over the course of the summer, it's like 5 or 6 times over the course of the summer. And then once you get into winter, it's like maybe 4 times. Oh, that's a shame, Grandma. But anyway. So what's going on D&D wise? We're returning to Gamma World tomorrow night. So if you've missed the Let's Play live streams, those are happening again. This has just been kind of a wonky week because it's coming off vacation. I had no Kyle last night, and then we had the 4th practically in the middle of the week. So we'll be back to form next week. Me Have Stick is a whole game. Imperial Ramblings. Me Have Stick is a whole game. It is a whole entire RPG. There are only 13 copy left. $10 for copy. $11 for autograph copy. And just to be clear about Me Have Stick is it's a prank. All right, it's a 2-page role-playing game because I don't do like this. Just came up. This kind of comes and goes cyclically. That we get that we get ultra reductivist approaches to TTRPGs, like AD&D's to like even Gygax didn't use all of AD&D. I'm just OD&D. Well, OD&D and supplements is too much of a drag. I'm just Holmes Basic. No, that's really more like AD&D light. I'm getting into just the Empire of Petal Throne set. Well, no, I'm just I'm like notes about Braunstein games and a copy of Chainmail. And it's just like this slow like step down into just hyper reductivism. And look, I get it. Nobody wants to realistically, the day of stuff like Rollmaster, MERP, Palladium, Hero System, outside of a small niche, the days of those are really gone by, right? I mean, the heaviest weight system you want is probably something like 5e. And I'm sorry if you feel differently, if you're like clutching your 4th edition Hero System book and making the sign of the cross at your computer screen right now. But the ultra heavyweight RPGs with charts and grafted on subsystems and so on and etc., that's really kind of in the rearview mirror, isn't it? I think it is. But at the same time, this weird ass drive to strip everything back further and further and further and further until you're down to like 2 stats and 8 spells. Well, I mean, at that point, you've got Melee or Dragons of Underearth, right? So I kind of, as a joke in the middle of a rant about that on stream a few weeks ago, came up with Me Have Stick. It was conceived, designed, written, and published in the middle of a live stream. It is literally just a joke. And so I said, me send you copy, me have stick, $10, autograph, $11. 15 copy only ever. Once all gone, no more. It's sad. I spent over 2 days today, 2 hours listening, over an hour today listening to two dudes talk about Math Hammer. I don't know what that is. GR, you're right. The niches have faded away. I mean, the majority of the stuff behind me, it's never going to get played. MechWarrior 2, the role-playing games, not the mech sim games. They're just niches. Did I say it was 20? Maybe it was 20. Anyway, when 20 people have decided that they all want copies of Me Have Stick, oh, we have 20 people on the stream, speaking of. Melee was fun. Did I tell you guys about we need splat books? That up to third-party publisher. Me Have Stick have open license. See how easy that is? So welcome to you all who've come into the stream. Oh, okay, all right. I was thinking that I was like, is that like a math computer program? I remember one that was like, it was like a math modeling program, Maple 5. On the PC. Actually, it was on a lot of platforms. Maple 5. If you remember Maple 5, you might be an old guy. Joe the lawyer, greetings. Don't watch the first 15 or so minutes of this stream, Joe. It'll probably make you angry at me. It's nothing at you specifically. I'm just looking at your comments. Yeah, no, I feel you. IR on having time to do anything. Do I have... I'm getting my copy of Dragons of Underearth. I did an unboxing of this once upon a time. Dragons of Underearth. This is essentially Melee. This was made by Metagaming Concepts after Steve Jackson left. It's got some pretty okay art in it. Oh crap! Oh, esoteric. Hello, hi. I was just talking about Lost stuff, Joe. Yes. I when the stream's over, I will go on Twitter and I will answer your message on Twitter. Sorry about that, esoteric. I'm trying not to destroy the edge of the box in opening it. So, Dragons of Under-Earth, compact rules for fantasy role-playing. Comes with a map, and you can use these little geomorphic tiles to make dungeons on the map with. There was actually a domain level play version of this called Lords of Under-Earth that is apparently super rare, very few copies. Here are the still as yet unpunched counters. Because, like so many of my role-playing games, I have not played this with anyone. I can't find a group to play Dragons of Under-Earth with. And then there's the rule book. And I got this bad boy from an eBay auction. It was in shrink wrap. We did an unboxing of it way back when this show was in its infancy. Yeah, here's the problem with me putting a quote-unquote permanent link. It's a lie. Discord lies. Those links that like, oh, it never expires. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. All right. Let me try and get a Discord link. Let me try and get a Discord link shared with you. And I say try because I still haven't upgraded this PC beyond the incredibly generous stack O RAM that I got from Imperial Ramblings, actually. I meant to do that. So it may start to chug and you may see me lose connection. And I apologize if that's the case. Let's see. So how's everybody else doing this evening? I hope you're doing absolutely outstanding. I'm bringing stuff up. Hold. No, don't close all. All right. Now, attention, people of the future. If you're watching this video, love isn't always on time. If you're watching this video, don't follow this link. It won't work. No, I have two, either 2 or 4, and yeah, it's ECC DDR3 base 1600 RAM in there. The thing now is I have a CPU. Oh, I left the damn side camera on. Whoa. There we go. That's the one. I have a CPU. Can I find it? Well, it's over there somewhere, but I have a new CPU I need to put in. IR, you sent me 32, and now I have 48 gigs in the machine. I have like 3 times the memory that I had in my editing PC. It's the CPU at this point. It's got like a 2.548, and I have a 3.5816, or is it 812? Anyway, it's got a lot more threads and a lot more clock power that I'm fixing to throw into it. John Scott, you're about to open an Abbott Ale from England. Yeah, I thought about having another Guinness tonight, but 1, I didn't have any cold, and 2, I woke up feeling like the inside of my mouth had been tarred this morning. I love Guinness. That's on me, right? I wanna upgrade my aging 4th gen. Let me tell you what, gamers, fellows, 4th gen systems paired with a good video card, like I would say up to like a 3090 in a 4th gen system, max out the RAM, you still got a beast of a gaming rig. 4th gen was an incredible sweet spot if you're an Intel. Let me tell you, Intel beat the crap. We're past a half-hour mark. Intel beat the shit out of AMD from like 2009 until the early days of Ryzen. And there have been, like, if you guys follow Greg, I've gone blank. He does PC-DC, personal computer deep clean, and fixer flop. Greg Salazar. He alone has gotten many dead Ryzen CPUs. Guys, dead CPU has never been a thing. Ever. I have never, ever, and I have abused some CPUs. Like back in the 90s, the heatsink clip on my wife's CPU socket broke. We didn't know about it because, no transparent panels on back of the Pentium 200 days. They were beige boxes. And so basically the bottom edge of her fan heatsink was all that was making contact with her CPU. And it just ran that way for years, plural. dying CPUs just wasn't a thing. So as far as I'm concerned, Ryzen has kind of slipped back again, or AMD has kind of slipped back again. Sorry, AMD fans. So his the fact that he's gotten so many dead AMD CPUs, and then if you guys follow Gamers Nexus, you saw the amazing exploding AMD CPUs, no overvolt protection on the boards. And the board manufacturers are like, we didn't get any data from AMD about how to fix this. And AMD certainly didn't have any overvolt protection in their CPUs. And there are people actually having detonations. CPUs popping in their sockets. Not bam, shards going everywhere, anything like that. But they look at these things under electron microscopes because that's the kind of pull Gamers Nexus has. Take care, John. Thanks for hanging out. But to go back to the 4th gen era, at the time the 4th gen hits, yes, it was a lot more expensive, but, AMD had their FX line, which were just space heaters. Like their top of the line FX was like 9850 CPUs were just barely faster than a K-series 4th gen Intel chip. The 4th gens still hold their value. They do. Back in the days of Cyrix, yeah. Now, fortunately, AMD is nowhere near as awful as Cyrix was. We've heard of FPUs, but we don't really want any truck with a floating point unit. I mean, madness is that. Fixed point math is enough for anybody. I still kick myself to this day. I had a 6x86 PR166, allegedly Pentium 166 speeds from Cyrix. My board failed when I put it on there. I got a new board from the computer shop that sold me the chip, which was really decent of them. Or maybe they gave me the Cyrix. I don't remember. But they gave me a new board, and the guy offered me in exchange. He's like, I have a Pentium 100 motherboard and CPU, brand new. Do you want to do that? Like an idiot, I said no. If I had gotten the gosh darned Pentium 100, it would have been leaps and bounds better than that Cyrix. Kicking myself for that. Yes, K63s were very prone to them. Yep, Celeron 300As. Only had 128K of cache, but it was faster than the cache on 400 megahertz slot 1 Xeons and 450 megahertz slot 1 Pentium 2s. So with an 8-bit BX6 revision 2 motherboard, a little bit of tape and some nail polish, you could overclock the heck out of them. I had one. Wow, that's fascinating, GR. Anyway, let's not talk about computer stuff. Let's go back to talking about D&D. So next week we'll return to Flight. We'll be back next week with the Tuesday night AD&D game. I don't know what Kyle's got in store for us, if he's going to bring the Thunder on gaming on Wednesday nights again. I hope he does, but I don't know that he will. And then on Fridays, of course, this Friday, we'll be back to Gamma World, which I'm looking forward to. Jack Photon offered to step up and run something on Fridays, and we'll have to see. I hope I'm not putting words in your mouth, Jack, if you're still out there. .400 megahertz slot 1 P2. That's what came in my compact Presario. Yup. You know what? Though going back to the D&D stuff, one thing that I'm working towards, and one reason I have these ridiculous monitor stands. Well, I'll get back to you, Jack. No, Death Angel, that's a good question. And I'm going to get, you know what? I think that's a fine thing to talk about. I'll hold forth on that in just a minute. But one of the reasons I have the monitor stands is it frees up a lot of space, and I can come back this way a lot more with gaming stuff out on the table. So in the future, look forward to more gaming stuff that's going to be going on out there. We're going to be using miniatures and Dwarven Forge a lot more going in to the back half of 2023 and, of course, into 2024. As crazy as it may seem, in 3 or 4 weeks, guys, we've got to all start thinking about Christmas. You know, I know that's nuts, right? But I know I'm on all your Christmas lists for cool D&D swag. So the Bro SR, I'm going to put this up here. First of all, Death Angels, it is a bunch of useless and infighting, and that's where it should stop. Oh boy. So, how long have I been going? Not sure how much longer I want to go. In the beginning, there was me, and I was pretty awesome. I was out there pushing AD&D, hand making AD&D modules, pushing them out there. Now, I'm not going to say I'm the only person that thought AD&D was cool back in the early 2000s. But there were times when it seemed like it. But nobody, it seemed, was actively out there creating stuff and pushing it and saying, let's, you know, there's points out here on the field. Let's pick up the ball and keep scoring for Team AD&D. It seemed like that was just yours truly, right? And you kind of had some people that were a little afraid of Wizards of the Coast, not sure what was going on. So you had kind of sideways, like, you know, Castles and Crusades, like, it's sort of classic D&D, but it's not really. And you had Hackmaster who were like, get it? Armor classes go down. Get it? Mad Magazine approach. But I was just like, no, here, let it be this way. And when people kind of started to wake up. Now, independent of what I was doing, let me be 100% clear. Independent of what I was doing, Stuart Marshall, Matt Finch, a lot of very smart people from Knights and Knaves, great guys. They said, well, wait a minute. Wait. Hold on a second. So you say you've got this open gaming license, right? We can publish D&D, right? Fine. And they recreated AD&D and created Osric. And I'm here to tell you, Wizards of the Coast went more than a little bit bananas about it. And in fact, some people, now this is ancient history. I'm talking about 16 years ago, 17 years ago. There were some people who were so mad that the people that they didn't like at Knights and Knaves had done this. They were out there telling publishers that the Knights and Knaves guys are about to get sued. It's going to happen any day. I've already contacted Wizards to let them know these guys are in violation, yada, yada, yada. Well, obviously nothing ever happened, but there were certainly some people trying to poison the well. But I kept on keeping on. Once AD&D, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, started to look cool again because it was punk and it was against the corporate ethos of Wizards of the Coast, suddenly it became the place to be seen. And thus you had the creation of the, with a capital T, OSR. And anytime a scene gets astroturfed like that, you're going to have self-appointed leaders of it. So I looked up one day and I found out that there were Google Plus circles and certain web forums and certain mailing lists and so on you had to be on. And this person was a voice in the OSR and this person was a voice in the... And I'm like, who are you people? Your name isn't Gygax. Your name isn't Ward. Your name isn't Kuntz. Get the hell out of here. I was very vocal against the OSR. Old school revival? Absolutely, that's awesome. Play and love what you want. But this sudden movement and its revolutionary council and leaders, I'm like, I haven't fucking heard of you people. And I would vocally say so. Like, why are you getting a voice? Why is anyone listening to you? You know, you'd have people whose sole credits were working on 3rd edition shovelware. Suddenly saying, well, I played, as I was saying, to Dave Arneson back in the day. And I'm like, what the fuck? Where did you come from? And why should anyone pay attention to you? And why should you be some authority? And it disgusted me and it drove me up the wall. And it still does. So I don't understand movements in the hobby. But I will tell you this. I think the BroSR versus OSR dust-up is a psyop. I think Wizards of the Coast is clapping their hands and rubbing them together gleefully at what is going on out there. Now, as far as I can tell, there are dudes who kind of like me. I've never really talked to a bunch of them. I've never really interacted with them. I don't know them. But kind of like me, they've taken the attitude of just play AD&D as it was written. Just play AD&D. That's it. It's not reductivist. It's just saying, hey, you remember when you were a kid and you got a copy of the Dungeon Master's Guide, the Player's Handbook, and the Monster Manual, and you go down and you spend $5 on a module or $2.99 on a module, and you'd read it and you'd sit down and you'd play it. The end. No movements, no fronts, no appointed voices. And that was that. And again, I don't understand ideologies having anything to do with that. I think that's a fine mindset to have, to just say, here's what I'm doing. Here's an awesome thing I'm doing. And then just move on and do your thing. That seems to be what most people are interested in. Now, these guys saying, that are supposedly part of this bro SR who are saying, like, if you're not playing 1-to-1 time in your campaign, that's ridiculous. And I'm not doing that. That's silly and stupid. Oh, if you were a better DM, you could do time management. It wouldn't matter, and your games wouldn't end in the middle of the dungeon, and you'd make your place. Like, fucking come on. Grow up. My Monday night games wrap at 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. 12:59, I'll tell my friends, my players, all right, next round, we roll initiative. I'll see you guys next week. And the characters do not stand there staring at the monsters for 7 days. Now, conversely, I think it's a good idea sometimes. I've talked to you guys before about how I handle overland travel. And overland travel takes a certain amount of time. And I roll encounters in every hex. When the party says we're going from Verbabonk to wherever, in the in-between, I may roll. And guess what? I may never roll a 1. When the group gets back, I'm like, 7 days have passed. You journeyed from Verbabonk to Divers. 7 days have passed. 7 days in real time have passed. 7 days in game time have passed. Or if I know nothing's coming, but it's going to be a 2-week overland trip, 7 days pass, we sit down to play, and they role play out the rest of their trip for the rest of the night. So I think that's a silly thing that they do. But what's going on again with who you should be seen with and what stream you should be on and who you should talk to, it's just a bunch of horse shit. Okay? There are people from TSR that I don't particularly like. They'll never be guests on my show. I'll never reach out to them. There are people that you guys have no clue who they are, but they're friends of mine. I'll have them on the show. This crap that's going on, man, just shut up and play D&D. It's middle school slam book bullshit. And if you don't know what a slam book is, if you're a little young to know what a slam book is, back in the day, I mean, like these things could get awful. But you'd make a slam book. You'd take like a folder or a spiral notebook, and you would just write like, I hate and I like, and you'd write nasty messages, and you just pass it around, and it was anonymous. You never signed your name to it. But there could be some hateful bullying stuff in there on the level of middle school stuff. And that's all this is. That's all this is. And the fact of the matter is, in the balance of things, if you're out there and you're complaining and you're whining because nobody is listening to you as the voice of the OSR, odds are you probably shouldn't be it anyway. Shut up and play Dungeons and Dragons. Shut up and play Dungeons and Dragons. Shut up and play Dungeons and Dragons. That's what I think about it. No, one-to-one time doesn't always work at all, RPG Grandma, and it can't. Okay, anybody out there who thinks one-to-one time works, explain to me how a turn worth of combat can take a half an hour to 45 minutes to resolve. And don't you lie and say it can't, or that you'll make it only last 10 minutes. You can't, not with a large group. Yes, Death Angels. Gary would throw out rules he didn't like. Gary didn't use weapon versus armor type. So that's as far as I know. That's what's going on there. I better check my metrics. I probably just pissed a bunch of people off. I'm just kidding. We are 4674 on the subscription count. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. We're within spitting distance of 4,700 subs. So if you have friends, family, enemies that you think my streams or videos would annoy, send them my way. Tell them to subscribe. Death Angel says, I've never knocked you for playing mostly 33.5. But you notice is the degradation of both fun and challenge as things have progressed, especially the past few years with WotC. Well, I mean, sure. But play what you love, Don't worry what about what some self-appointed authority thinks. And that includes me. Don't stop yourself. Like, if you listen to one of my streams and I tell you that segments and that it absolutely counts segments and that sort of thing, I don't like the way Basic and Expert does it, where you just like Raise Dead and Magic Missile take the same amount of... Is Raise Dead in Basic and Expert? I don't even know that it is. I have the Expert rules. Should I get them out and look? Do you think, guys? Should I get them out? I'm digging the book out like I'm going to listen to y'all. I really need to fix this. I had a much better Expert set book, but I had to sell it. So I have this one, all 3 volumes. Raise Dead. Is Raise Dead an Expert? Spells, 1st level cleric spells. Yes, Raise Dead. It's a 5th level cleric spell. Casting times are important. Not that you would be casting Raise Dead in the middle of combat, but the point is, casting times are important. And if you eschew them, then you can get some pretty ridiculous things going on in the middle of combat. You may disagree. You may think I'm a big pointy-brained meanie head, and that you're not going to use casting times. Or if I go off on that rant, and you come back and you're like, guys, listen, I know we've never used segments in our AD&D games before, but Bill Sylvia is the most important authoritative voice in the online AD&D community, and he says that it's really important that we do that, so we're going to be doing that. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't do that. Please don't limit your games based on what you think I think, or what you think might. I mean, if you ask me what I think is the right way, I will tell you what I think is the right way. And if you play it that way and you enjoy it, that's awesome. But if you don't play it that way and your way is fun, that's awesome too. Yeah, that's right. You can use you can also use it as Slay Living. You use pretty much a guaranteed kill spell. So just enjoy and ignore the voices, particularly the ones in your heads, the ones that tell you that this is how it has to be this way, and I'm the most authoritative voice, and you need to listen to me just because I'm from Uruguay. Oops. Just because I say so, just don't worry about it. Play the D&D that you love and play it the way that you love. All right? I want you guys to think back for a minute, and I'm going to wrap up on this. Because it's getting a little late. But I want you guys to think back to January. I feel like Cyrus in the Warriors here. We got the 5th edition guys next to the 4E Warriors. We got the Lamentation of the Flame Princess sitting next to the OD&D fans, and nobody's wasting nobody. And that, my brothers, is a miracle. And miracles is how things ought to be. Can you dig it? That's how it was in January. And that had to scare the living hell out of Hasbro. You guys remember Hasbro, right? They're the multi-billion-dollar corporate oligarchy that is squeezing tabletop gaming by the balls. And don't bring me this one. I don't play D&D, so it doesn't really impact me. You know full well that D&D is the hobby bellwether. It is the hobby leader. Tomorrow, if tomorrow the devil himself handed a complete computerization of D&D to Wizards of the Coast and said, you don't have to develop it. Here it is. It works perfectly. I got a semi-truckload or 10 of servers out there. You can turn the switch and cancel paper gaming. Paizo, every company would be struggling to do the same thing. And you would see in the course of a couple of years, pen and paper, sit with your friends, eat pizza, drink soda, share funny jokes, crumble away into nothingness. You know it would happen. So when I talk about Wizards of the Coast being the bad guy, you can get smug and say, it doesn't matter. I don't pay attention to them, because brothers and sisters, they absolutely pay attention to you. And when we stood shoulder to shoulder in January and February and said, fuck you, you're not taking our hobby from us, that made them pause. That made them stop for a minute. That made them think about just who they were screwing with. 6 million angry nerds. And now you got stuff again where you got this factional fighting going on. They got to be sitting in their offices laughing, going, "Whew, oh, that was a close one." But they're just back to screaming at each other. Yeah, give it that. Yeah, we kind of moved a little too fast, but give it another couple months. They'll forget about us, and then we can do whatever we want to them. They'll be screaming at each other. The 5e people. We'll tell them to tell the OSR guys they're not inclusive enough. And don't worry about the OSR guys getting on a united front. We got people working on that too, stirring the pot on social media. That's what you're playing into if you let this if you let this kind of thing get out of control. Does Raised Dead doesn't work on elves and AD&D? Does Slay a Living? I'd say no. If Raised Dead brings the soul back to the body, and a spirit like an elf has can't be brought back to the body, then Slay Living drives the soul out of the body. And the spirit can't be moved in that way. So I will say it doesn't. So that's it. That's the kind of discussion I want to have. Does Raised Dead or does Slay Living kill an elf in AD&D? Not. Did you see that John Smith was on Joe Blow's podcast? Let's cancel him. Let's push him out of the OSR. I mean, the new OSR. I mean, the new OSR Plus only on Gmail mailing list. Get out of here with that. Get out of here. Don't let the bastards grind you down. Have a wonderful evening, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with a video and tomorrow night with some live stream. Please remember to subscribe. Click the like button if you like this video. Click the bell icon for notifications. Now, to conclude the broadcast, I'm going to play Bob Antone's Have You Seen My Owlbear? Have a lovely evening. Peace.
Have you seen my owlbear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owlbear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.